So Sugriv and Hanuman are watching Ram and Lakshman come towards Rishamukh. They watch from a distance and Sugriv is suspicious because they are dressed like ascetics, but they are carrying arms. He tells Hanuman, they may have been sent by my brother Vali. Go and speak to them and find out why they are here. And go in your natural human form. Prakrite naiva gatva. And so Hanuman took off his monkey attire and went dressed as an ascetic. Kapirupam parityajya bhikshurupam tato bheje.
Let's pause it a little bit here.
Yes. Because this is, I'm sure you have the question, what is this monkey attire?
Yes. I mean, I think we'd spoken about it in our first ever interaction before this series. I'd love for you to repeat this part.
Okay, sure. And we had a fairly long conversation there where many individual shlokas and verses I had quoted.
Because I think the visual reference point for all Indians who have heard the Ramayana is that Hanuman Ji was some kind of a divine ape-like being. That's what you always end up visualizing.
Right.
Him with that very peculiar ape-like mouth. But you're saying that in the actual Valmiki Ramayana, it is actually a reference to attire when they're speaking about ape-like appearance. So perhaps there is a mouthpiece, there is a tail.
So let me recap, or summarize the discussion, the longer discussion we had earlier. Essentially, the Vanaras were forest dwellers who dressed up like monkeys. Humans who dressed up like monkeys. They were not a different race, and they also had the same cultural roots as the people who lived in the cities and janpads. Now, I will, break down each of these parts for you. The word Vanar in Hindi means bandar, right? And so why not monkey? The word says so. And Valmiki has also used the word Kapi, Hari, Plavangamaha, Shakha, Mrugaha. All of these are used to denote monkeys. However, all of these are adjectives. So Plavangamaha, although used to denote a monkey, actually means those who leap. So even humans who leap can be called Plavangamaha. And interestingly, Valmiki has also used the words Nari, Jana, Stri and Purush for the Vanaras. He has also called them Vanavasinaha, Kananaukasaha, Vanaukasaha, all of which means forest-dwelling people. So on one hand, he has called them Nari, Jana, Stri, Purush, humans. On the other hand, Vanaraha, Plavangamaha. Essentially, they were humans who dressed up like monkeys. Even today, forest dwellers, we see sometimes put on feathers or horns to dress up like some chosen animal.
Okay. Because you have given so much of your own time, energy and life to the Ramayana, I would love to ask you a little tangential question.
Okay.
When I say Hanuman Ji to you or Sugriv, what are you visualizing when it comes to the face?
A forest dweller who puts on some type of a face mask to look like a monkey. Similar to, like I said, some forest dwellers would put on feathers or other accessories, something that they could take off. Because even now, Sugriv is telling him, take off the monkey attire. Kapirupam parityajya. So it is something that they could take off. And also, a lot of stories related to the tail. So they also wore a tail.
Gotcha. And specifically when it comes to Hanuman Ji, I am pretty sure that visually there would be something very different about him as compared to the other Vanars. On some level. It could just be his human face would have had a bit more tej. Like tej is radiance. That's the translation. One more question to Yashodeep Deodhar and not Shri Valmiki. What are you visualizing when it comes to Hanuman Ji's face?
So definitely he was the greatest of them all. He was well versed in the Vedas, Shastras, and there's something very special about him. And we'll see what he does in the Kishkinda Kand and Sundar Kand. But in terms of powers, let's say, or he is like the Vanaras, but the greatest among them. So you asked me visually, if you see, even if you go to ancient temples, for example, and you look at sculptures, Hanuman, Vali, Sugriv, other Vanaras are all shown similarly. So you can't make out from a just their size or proportion. Also, interestingly, in some of the temples, their size and proportion is the same as the size and proportion of Sri Ram and Lakshman. Right? So perhaps even those sculptors were indicating that these are humans who dressed up like monkeys.
Gotcha.
Another example, we spoke about this. There were Vanaras who were born to rishis. And some specific examples have been given. Maharshi Putram Maricham Archishmantam Mahakapim. So Archishman was the son of Rishi Marichi and he was a Vanar. So they became Vanaras. It was a lifestyle that they chose. Clearly not a different species, right? I mean, you are saying that they were born to rishis. Some of the people of Ayodhya were born to rishis. And Ravan as well. His father was a rishi. So there is no racial difference and definitely not a different species. And then finally, also that their cultural roots were not different because Sri Hanuman was also an expert on the Vedas and Shastras and so on.